Welcome to the Mom Founders Table. Pull up a chair and join me every week as I become your thought partner and help you lead to create change. I'm your host, Kelsey Kenry, entrepreneur, millionaire mom of three, and strategic business coach for established mom entrepreneurs. Every week, you will get tactical guidance to apply to your business, leadership, and life that will help you further your true success while also being invited into a new way of thinking and being that creates true freedom. I'm here to call you out and call you up, so take a seat and let's begin. Welcome back to the Mom Founders Table podcast. You may have noticed that I took a break from the podcast. And sometimes we take breaks because everything is just too much. Sometimes we take breaks because we're reevaluating. Sometimes we take breaks because things we're doing are no longer serving us. There's a variety of things, especially when it comes to our businesses. And a couple of months ago, I remember I had it on my schedule to record podcast episodes, and there was like this sense of dread in my body. And for me, one of the most important things for me to do is to live in integrity. And so when I felt that, I was like, you know what? This is my choice. Like everything that I put on my calendar is my choice. Everything that I say yes to is my choice. And so I was like, you know what? I don't have to record these today. I don't have to record them next week. I don't have to record them ever. And for me, it was really about taking enough space to process, okay, what about this doesn't feel good? And I think it's really just a lesson in business for all of, you're the owner. You get to choose. And I know it's so simple for me to say that, and it's much easier said than done. Trust me, I get it. But I think a lot of times we're handing our power over to fear. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to let people down. All of my listeners that listen every single week, I don't want to let them down. I don't want to upset anybody. And I knew that as I started thinking about it, that I was like, it's okay. And as I've advised so many of my clients to do, there's something that we're all holding that feels really heavy that we have the option to put down. And it's just about facing the fear of putting it down so that you can understand and see and give your brain the proof that everything's going to be okay when you do. And so that was a choice that I made a couple months ago now. And I'm so happy to be back and be recording. And I want to give you guys a little update about everything that's coming. So one of the coolest things that we've done is, while this platform has been primarily me sharing behind the scenes what's going on with me, my clients, the business research, the growth, the mindset, the leadership that we need as mothers and business owners, I wanted to expand that further and bring in more voices from different industries, because the more lessons, the more failures, the more stories that we can bring to this space, the better for you. And honestly, the better for me too, because I love talking to people. Everybody knows this about me. So in 2026, we have opened applications to be on the Mom Founders Table. And it was pretty crazy because we opened these and there was like over 100 applicants right away. So amazing. Just like so many cool women that are going to be coming on the show with us. And I can't wait to introduce you guys to all of them. So with that being said, I wanted to give you guys a little behind the scenes of like my thought process, like why I chose to put this down for a couple of months, and give you permission to, like, whatever feels heavy, take a step back from it so you can see it. Because that's the thing, is that when we are highly successful and highly ambitious, we get so stuck in putting one foot in front of the other in the day to day of just like making sure that we're conquering everything we want to conquer to move forward, that we don't stop to like take a breath and be like, do I actually like this? Is this actually serving me? Is this actually serving the business? Does this work for me anymore? Does it feel in alignment with where I'm going? And it was kind of the perfect storm for me because if I'm being completely honest, like 2025 was an incredible year. And it was a year where me personally, like my internal and my business evolved like so rapidly that I was like I felt like I was playing catch up pretty much from like especially at the midpoint of the year on. So we were able to end beating last year's revenue, beating last year's profit, adding new team members. And it was honestly such a year of transformation for me and my leadership. And one of the things that I discovered that I'm carrying into 2026 is that in reflecting about what I really want for my life and for this business and for the people that I work with, I realized that there were parts of me that I was still, I don't love this phrase if I'm being honest with you. There was parts of me that I was still making smaller. There was parts of me that in some circumstances that I would shrink. And what I realized is I can change that. And I think that's the power of radical responsibility is like once you recognize that there's something in your life or your business that you don't like, then you have to ask yourself, okay, so what do I need to do differently to get a different result from that? And so it was having this conversation with myself and having the space to be able to do that and all of the reflecting that we all do at the end of the year and all the planning for the year ahead. And I want to ask you the same question that I asked myself. And that is like, what if you went all in on you? Not just like checking the boxes of like more revenue and, bigger empires and impacting more people, but what if you went all in on you? Like, what would your business look like? What would your body feel like? What would your confidence feel like? How would your voice elevate if you just truly believed in yourself and what you are creating through the path of your business? Because I think this question really shifts everything. Because a lot of times, especially at this, beginning part of the year, we're sitting down and we're writing down these goals. And at the point of this airing, we're already in February. So we're looking back, like, are you still ignited the way that you were in January? Did you just write down the goals or did you write down associated actions that you're taking? Because we can write them down all day. But here's the thing that like not a lot of people will tell you. Who you are, your identity has to change in order to get a different external result. Because even if we're talking about you desiring to build, let's say 2x your business, there is the parts of this that are strategic and tactical of, okay, what people do we need? What processes do we need? What kind of pricing do we need? Right? These are all like everything, a lot of the stuff falls in those three areas when I'm working with clients of like, okay, these 3 Ps change everything for the infrastructure of your business. So it's building that correct infrastructure. It's making sure that the structure can hold what you say you want. But if we don't also evolve our identity and our beliefs of us being wealthy women, us being able to have overflow in our lives, us being able to actually lead the team that's going to help carry that mission, then it's going to be like full stop. So it is so important that we don't just have good intentions. It's so important that we have accountability and a plan, and that we also set our expectations to the reality that we're going to have to change. And change is uncomfortable. That's why so many people avoid it. So how many years is it going to take for you to look back at your patterns, at your behaviors, at your habits? How many times are you going to have to ask yourself the same question? How many times are you going to say you're going to do something differently? And then finally, you get sick of your own shit. And this is the transition point, right? And many of you, especially at the beginning of the year, hit a transition point. And it's a beautiful place to be because it's wildly uncomfortable, but it's also the same place where you're like, you know what? I don't want to lead my business this way anymore. I don't want my business to feel like this. I want to step into something that feels aligned. I don't want it to take this much time away from my family. I don't want to serve this type of client. Whatever it is, you can name those things, but then immediately fear comes in and you're like, how am I going to do that? If I fire those clients, will I go broke? Like all of these just rattling thoughts in our head of like, oh my gosh, if I switch my schedule, if I take that day off, if I take that time off, if I don't offer that service anymore, if I fire that team member, if I hire that team member, if I hire Kelsey, right? It's all so scary. And we can do hard things. Because I've never worked with a woman who wasn't brave. I've never worked with a woman who hasn't been through hard shit. And so as we are now in 2026, my question for you again is, are you willing to go all in on you? Because sitting in, one foot out behaviors, not being able to be decisive, procrastinating on the scary actions that you know you need to take, you're going to keep looking back and it's going to be another month and another year and another year. And you're going to be like, well, shit. But like, you're the only person that can change that. And so for me, I was like, okay, here's what we're doing. We are going to tax the business this year at minimum. Here's how we're doing it, and here's who I need to be. And to be honest, the how is the easy part. With my clients, it's like, okay, here's what our services need to be. Here's what marketing needs to look like. Here's what team needs to look like. And here's the systems and processes that we need behind the scenes to make it all happen. The harder part is you shedding the identity that you currently hold. It's you letting go of the head trash of I can't do this, or who's going to be mad at me, or I have enough. It's recognizing that when you expand, you also invite the people around you to expand. It's realizing that money is good. Money gives us freedom and flexibility and choice. And so are you willing to go all in on you? And furthermore, are you willing to actually follow through? Are you willing to actually do what you say you want to do? Because if so, you're going to need accountability. You're going to need the right people in your corner. You're going to need the right team members. You're going to need the right infrastructure in your business. And you're going to need the right thoughts in your head to be able to carry that through. One of the coolest things that we're doing in 2026 is we have opened up a dinner and workshop series that we are holding all over the US. So in this dinner and workshop series, we have made it an intimate setting that is specifically curated for you to build referral partnerships, collaborations, and just have networking that doesn't suck and actually creates results for your business, while pairing that with a business workshop that is dedicated to the how and the who you need to be. So if you haven't seen this already, it's called City Girls, and it's absolutely named after the rap group City Girls, because if there's anything that I hope everybody knows about me at this point, it is that I am a huge hip hop fan. I love all music, but hip hop will forever have my heart. So that being said, we've curated this just for established female founders. So this is for women who are already doing multiple 6 or 7 or scaling past 7 figures. And so we're putting you in a room with like-minded women who get the struggles, who carry the responsibility that you carry, who have been there, who are going there, who truly just can see and understand where you're at. And this whole experience has been intentionally curated. So we're coming to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Fort Worth, right here in Sarasota, where I live. And then what am I missing? New York City, right? So we'll drop the link for that in the bio. But I really just kind of wanted to reset the stage here for the podcast and just say, you know what? At a certain point, you have to realize that like you're worth going all in for. And sometimes you need to step back, reevaluate, think, give yourself the space to ask yourself what's not working for you. Because the thing is that we're always going to succeed best when we're in highest alignment, right? When we are excited, when we're having fun, when we feel joy, when we are fulfilled outside of our work, everything else is going to work better. So in 2026, we have City Girls, our dinner and workshop series. There's only 20 seats at this point. Probably a lot of them are sold out, but make sure that you're checking that link below. Those are all throughout 2026. We also have a wait list so you can apply for my private partnership spots. And on this podcast here, we are bringing some incredible guests that are going to peel back the curtain. We're going to talk about the hard shit. We're going to bring the lessons. The goal is with each of these people, there's nothing worse than like listening to an interview and feeling like you took nothing away from it. So the goal is to give you tactical, tangible things and perspective shifts so that after you finish the episode, you can go apply those things. So speaking of application, what I want you to apply today and moving forward in this year is the reminder again that you are worthy. You are worthy of financial abundance and overflow. You are worthy of having space to think and enjoy your life and create and have fun, and also run a fucking amazing business that makes a lot of money so that you and your family can live flexibly. You are worthy of honoring your desires. You are worthy of whatever you want to create, making it true. And with that, I'm going to wrap this episode and hope that you take this directly into a quick journaling session. I hope this has shifted your outlook. I hope that peeling back the curtain on like me asking myself this question of like, am I willing to go all in, also has resonated with you. And you know what? I said this in my market predictions that I put on Instagram, which took me hella long time to like pull all that research, by the way. So if you haven't checked out that post, please do it. This is going to be a great year. It's going to be a great financial year. It's going to be the year where you shed the bullshit that doesn't feel good, where you get radically honest with yourself. And it's going to be the year that everything comes together. If you're willing to do everything that we talked about today, face yourself, face your fears, advocate for yourself, and do the scary things. So I will see you guys next week.